You're watching Fox 22, Bangor. From the Great North Woods to the Rock Mountain Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Today on Good Morning Maine, we'll take a look at the proposed education plan of gubernatorial candidate Paul LePage, plus an update on the dog that was lost after a crash in Ogunquit last week, and an update of the devastating fire that displaced 10 people in Bangor over the weekend. This and more local news right now. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith. Let's hit the ground running with a forecast check with meteorologist Devin Biggs. Good morning, Devin.
Hey, Emma, thank you very much. Happy Tuesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Crosby Sports Shop. With a large supply of ammo in stock, custom Damascus knives, fishing supplies of all kinds, concealed weapons classes, and a full line of Dragonfly UV tackle, plus the latest in ultraviolet tackle. Call today. Alrighty, so we only have a small craft advisory that's in effect along the coast lasting until about 4 p.m. today. Afterward, the wind will slowly start to calm down, which will help out the ocean. But otherwise, though, plenty of rain moving in this morning and even some thunderstorms along the coast as the lightning tracker has been lighting up with some of that early this morning. The rain's going to track off towards the north and east and hit our eastern counties for most of today, which will allow more rain to fall there. But once we head towards tomorrow, things will begin to improve as we get this precipitation out of here. With this area of low pressure that does continue to track off towards the east, not much behind it. So again, we got to get through today and parts of tonight before tomorrow things begin to look good. As for today, Futurecast showing some of that rain staying around the eastern parts of our viewing area. But again, later on tonight and the parts of tomorrow, they'll back off to a few sprinkles. And eventually by tomorrow, the clouds will also begin to break up. The wind zone will kind of be all over the place a little bit. A few gusts up to 20 miles per hour from time to time, but a gradual back off in the wind, especially as we head towards your Wednesday. So for today, middle 50s. It'll be cool out there, cloudy with rain showers. The north wind gusting up to about 20 miles per hour at times. Your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period. Plenty of rain with temperatures in the 50s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Emma?
Thank you, Devin. A Lubec man facing murder charges was in court Monday. Paul DeForest was arrested back in January after state police found his girlfriend, Eva Cox, deceased in the trunk of DeForest's vehicle, following reports that DeForest and Cox were involved in a domestic dispute. Attorney Stephen Jeskowicz represented DeForest in Washington County Superior Court and requested the judge change the venue for the upcoming trial because Eva Cox was, quote, very well liked within the community. The judge did not make a decision regarding the request, saying more information would be needed, giving the defense until the end of the month to provide that information. A tragic fire destroyed the homes of 10 people over the weekend. A.J. Douglas spoke to residents who are still picking up the pieces and learned how community members can help.
Around 10:40 Saturday morning, the Bangor Fire Department began receiving calls about smoke at 345 Union Street, adjacent to Charles Street. The heavy smoke quickly turned to flames, resulting in 10 people having to evacuate a place they once called home.
Fire started right here behind me somewhere near these porches, went up through the second floor into both parts of the building. Of course, with no power and gas to the building, all the tenants are displaced.
Holly Legender and Charlie Butera were residents of 64 Charles Street prior to the tragic fire. Legender began receiving calls about the fire while attending her late sister's funeral in Augusta. The two say they are grateful they were not home when the fire started.
We're doing our best to be grateful every day that we weren't here.
I'd like to think that it was my sister's,
Looking over us.
Last thing that she was looking after was...
The couple say they lost everything except the clothes on their backs and a few personal items left in their car. They are also mourning the loss of their cats, who perished in the fire.
We lost...
We lost my twin tiger kitties, Danny and Jamie.
It's been probably the hardest part, but everything else, for the most part, is gone.
The couple says the fire comes at a time when they had a lot to look forward to, including their wedding. They plan to continue working as musicians, but are asking community members to help them find housing and continue planning for their big day.
It's really to just try to have us find a place to live, really just kind of rebuild our lives again, but also we're still going to try to have our wedding in 2 weeks.
To learn more about how you can help, log on to foxbangor.com. In Bangor, A.J. Douglas, ABC 7, Fox 22.
Maine's uninsured rate experienced the largest decline in the nation in recent years. That announcement was made yesterday by Governor Janet Mills. A new report from the U.S. Census Bureau shows Maine's uninsured rate dropped from 8% in 2019 to 5.7% in 2021. The 2.3% drop is the largest decline of any state, with Idaho a close second. Maine went from having the 26th to the 14th lowest uninsured rate in the nation, according to information from the Maine Health Data Organization. As a result of more people having health insurance, uncompensated care for Maine hospitals fell by more than $84 million between 2018 and 2020. Gubernatorial candidate and former Governor Paul LePage unveiled his education plan for the state of Maine, which he says will put parents and students first and increase school choice. Among the proposed measures are prioritizing education dollars to provide new after-school care up to 5 p.m. to help parents fully get back to work, and starting vocational and technical education options as early as middle school. It also proposes formulating a parent's Bill of Rights, which he says would include an emphasis on basic subjects to improve overall scores in math, science, and reading, and providing curriculum transparency for parents that allows a parental opt-out option for sensitive materials.
Parents must be notified of all sensitive material with a parental opt-out option. Our curriculums need to focus on teaching our children how to think, not what to think.
The proposed Bill of Rights also suggests allowing public money to be spent on a school of the parent and child's choice. Chair of the Maine Democratic Party, Drew Gatteen, issued a statement in response to Paul LePage's plan for education in Maine, saying in part, quote, Maine has a long-standing tradition of local control, one in which we empower parents and school boards to work together to decide what belongs in schools and classrooms. Now LePage is taking a national Republican playbook and trying to import it into Maine, putting government square in the middle of these discussions to play referee. Maine parents don't want and don't need Paul LePage getting in the way, unquote. Gatteen also mentioned the ranking Republican member of the legislature's Education Committee has gone as far as to call LePage's plan, quote, unnecessary due to the function of school boards as a way for parents to give their educational feedback. A dog that went missing after a crash on I-95 was located this weekend. At approximately 8 p.m. Saturday, the Augusta Regional Communications Center received 2 calls from motorists advising they had seen what appeared to be a dog in the area of I-95 in York. According to the release, Maine State Police Trooper Matthew Williams began searching the area when he noticed the reflection of 2 eyes shining back at him from the woods. He stopped his cruiser and was able to see Whiskey's head through the tall grass. Williams said Whiskey then went back into the woods and could barely stand up when he was found. He said in part, quote, I brought a piece of chicken down with me to win his trust and give him the energy necessary to climb back up the embankment. He then finished off my dinner, 2 chicken breasts and a cheese stick, and drank nearly 2 liters of water. That was the last time he walked last night. I had to carry him after that. He's a survivor. I'm glad this part of the story had a happy ending. A Department of Public Safety spokesperson says there will be no charges filed against the driver of the truck. Whiskey was turned over to Ogunquit Police and Animal Control, where he will be cared for until reunification with his owner. The time is now 8:08. And coming up next on Good Morning Maine, Maine's congressional delegation came together to encourage local businesses to continue selling lobster. But before, let's check with our forecast real quick. Today is breezy and rainy, as you may have noticed, a high of 54. That trend is continuing on into tonight. Add some fog into the mix, dropping down to about 48 degrees as our low tonight. Tomorrow, a bit warmer, a bit sunnier, partly sunny, high of 66.
$7.8 million. That's how much I made home sellers in the past 2 years. Planning on selling? I'm Holly Taylor. Come to the one who gets it done. HollyTaylor.Realtor.
Here, you can find monuments to veterans from many generations, except ours. Jared stepped up. Jared Golden joined the Marines after 9/11. He knew veterans needed to be recognized for their service. That's why in Congress, Jared fought so hard with veterans from both parties to build the Global War on Terrorism Memorial. This will be a place for all of us who served in Iraq and Afghanistan to heal, and for our families too.
I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message because the memory of our fallen brothers and sisters must live on for generations to come.
Pro football fans, it's You Pick'em NFL, the Pro Football Challenge from Fox 22. Go to foxbangor.com, click on You Pick'em, and go to You Pick'em NFL. Make your picks, and you could be the weekly winner of a gift certificate from Chase's Family Restaurant in Bangor. Brought to you by Chase's Family Restaurant in Bangor, Prouty Auto Body in Dover Foxcroft, Twin City Tile and Brewer, and Twin City Tint in Brewer. Compete all season long for the grand prize trip for 2 to Hawaii. It's You Pick'em NFL at foxbangor.com.
When selling your home, knowing your options could make you tens of thousands of dollars. That's what I do for my clients. I'm Holly Taylor. Come to the one who gets it done. HollyTaylor.Realtor.
You can't always wait for people to flock to you. Sometimes you just have to flock yourself.
Barb Fletch? I haven't seen you since Girl Scout camp and you tied me to my bunk. Good memories. How about that? Weird kid's kind of sexy.
Jamie Presley joins Welcome to Fletch. New season Thursday, September 29th on Fox.
Maine's congressional delegation came together to publish an open letter to retailers and restaurants, encouraging them to continue selling Maine lobsters. Matthew Durantzik has more.
Monterey Bay Aquarium recently added Maine lobsters to its Seafood Watch Red List, asking consumers to avoid eating them. Now, in response, members of Maine's congressional delegation have published a letter in an attempt to set the record straight. In a joint statement from Senators Susan Collins and Angus King, Governor Janet Mills, Congressman Jared Golden, and Congresswoman Shelley Pingree, the group says, quote, to impose a red designation grounded in inaccurate and incomplete information severely undermines the credibility of the report's recommendation, end quote. Co-owner of Chipman Wharf, Amity Chipman, agrees that the designation is uncalled for.
Lobster fishing is not just a way of making money for us, it's a way of life.
The letter from the group suggests that the aquarium ignored basic evidence points, including the removal by Maine lobstermen of an estimated 30,000 miles of line from the ocean, a majority of right whale deaths coming from vessel strikes, and data showing that the death of a North Atlantic right whale has never been directly attributed to Maine lobster gear. Beale Lobster Pier dock manager Justin Snyder says he's glad Maine's congressional leaders are supporting the lobster industry.
We're a really small state. And, when it comes to being a small state and a small club that is the lobster industry, as a small state, the lobstering is the backbone of our local and state economy here. So it's great that we have such great leaders in Washington.
Snyder has a message for the aquarium.
This is going to take a personal toll on multi-generations of fishermen and their families. We have folks here that have been fishing with Beale since the 1950s. I would hope that the aquarium out there in California would be open to having those conversations with multi-generational fishermen to really understand how important the fishery is here to our community locally here on Mount Desert Island.
Matthew Durantzik, ABC7 and Fox 22.
Bangor's Director of Economic and Community Development is stepping down. Tanya Emery has held the position for the last 11 years. She is leaving to join the Maine Connectivity Authority to work on broadband at a statewide level. Emery says it's something she is very excited about.
If Maine does not have really equitable access to affordable broadband, it has to be affordable in order to really be accessible, then we're just not going to be able to keep up.
Emery says she has enjoyed working for the city of Bangor. She says she is very proud of the staff and all the incredible work they have been able to do. Her last day on the job is October 7th. The time is now 8:14. After the break, it's been nearly 3 years since Maine has enacted a law to provide life-ending medications to terminally ill patients. Plus, the troop breeders are back at Bangor International Airport. We'll hear from a few of them when we return.
Bathfitter doesn't just fit your bath. We fit your life. When a normal day is anything but normal, we fit your schedule with our unique tub-over-tub process installed in as little as a day. When high quality is the only quality that matters, we fit your standards with a lifetime guarantee. Bathfitter. It just fits.
Now, with $600 off a complete bath system, it fits your budget too. We've never had a promotion this big, so call or click now.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
Fast, friendly, honest, and clean. Counted right in front of you. You won't have to wait long to leave Brewer Redemption Center with cash in your hand. Located in the North Brewer Shopping Center behind the Parody, Brewer Redemption Center is open Tuesday through Friday, 8 to 6, and Saturdays, 8 to 4. So grab those returnables and head over to Brewer Redemption Center today. Our team is waiting for you.
It takes all types to play Family Feud. The sensible brother.
What would you do if you found the top half of a bikini? Smell it.
The Showstoppers. The Cooks.
Give me a seasoning a chef might name his daughter.
Nutmeg.
Don't do that to your baby.
See who shows up all season on Family Feud.
Weeknights at 7 on Fox 22.
It's been 3 years since Maine's Death with Dignity law was enacted. On September 19th of 2019, Maine became the 9th jurisdiction in the United States to implement the Aid in Dying law. Under the law, a provider may prescribe life-ending medications to a terminally ill, capable adult who qualifies. Then it's up to the patient to choose whether or not to self-administer their prescription to facilitate their own death in a peaceful and dignified manner.
And it doesn't always go well. You know, despite the best medical care, the best palliative support, the best hospice support, some people just really suffer immeasurably when they're dying, and it's not necessary.
For more information on Maine's Death with Dignity law, log on to mainedeathwithdignity.org. The Maine Troop Greeters are back in action at Bangor International Airport. During the pandemic, the greeters had to temporarily stop their beloved ritual, but were given the green light earlier this year to return to BIA to shake hands and thank the military men and women who passed through the airport. Our Jody Hersey was at BIA for a recent troop flight.
Welcome to Maine ASX.
Day or night, the Maine Troop Greeters are on call to welcome troops passing through Bangor International Airport.
Some are coming, some are going, but we never know when they're going to come, day or night. We get the call usually a few hours before they arrive, and we get as many people as we can.
Disabled Navy veteran Lyle Grindle is one of approximately 200 Maine Troop Greeters who volunteer to drive into the airport just to shake a soldier's hand and thank them for their service. It's something the Troop Greeters have been doing since 2003.
I just enjoy greeting these troops and seeing them, talking to them, and it's really a good time, and they enjoy it too.
85-year-old Joanne Black of Brewer is another troop greeter who's welcomed more soldiers to the Queen City than she can count.
Back when it first started, we used to make fudge and cakes, and they'd come in and they'd say, "Look at the pogey bait." You know, that's what Marines call snacks, was pogey bait.
Over the weekend, 2 troop flights stopped at BIA. Christian Ray of Florida and his unit were pleased to see so many welcoming faces.
So it is always fun to especially meet the old vets that come out and meet us and hear their stories and tell jokes with them.
Thank you.
In Bangor, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22.
The time is now 8:19. Let's get a full look at our forecast. Meteorologist Devin Biggs is in with the latest. Good morning, Devin.
Alrighty, Emma, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Crosby Sports Shop. With a large supply of ammo in stock, custom Damascus knives, fishing supplies of all kinds, concealed weapons classes, and a full line of Dragonfly UV tackle, plus the latest in ultraviolet tackle. Call today already, so we have that small crowd advisory that's in effect until 4 p.m. this evening, as things will start to calm down in the wind department later on tonight, and the parts of tomorrow which will help to ease up the ocean for a while. But we're still watching rain showers this morning, not much in the way of thunderstorms. That's mainly along the coast as our lighting tracker has been lighting up with a few offshore thunderstorms, but on land it's mainly some rain showers. But a few breaks are starting to develop as we start to get some of this out of here, though, with this area of low pressure. That area of low pressure is going to track off towards the east. High pressure right behind it for about a day or so will give us some very nice weather before more chances for showers and thunderstorms begin to move in later on in the week. Let's go on a field trip and talk about Hurricane Fiona. This thing has really intensified since our update yesterday. Now up to a Category 3 hurricane. We have winds up to about 115 miles per hour, moving toward the north-northwest at about 10 miles per hour. The red shaded areas right here, there's a hurricane warning. The orange areas, tropical storm warnings. And this thing is going to be tracking off towards the north from time to time, and even getting up to possibly Category 4 hurricane. Bermuda, we'll need to watch this closely. But then this thing continues to track off towards the north, though, maintain its strength. It'll be close enough to us where we may have to watch maybe for some effects from this system. No, more sure just some issues with wave heights, maybe a few clouds and some precipitation moving in. Still a long ways out, but we'll definitely make sure to keep you posted. This is this upcoming Friday at this point as it stands. But otherwise, though, back here at home, we do have some issues with gusty winds in a few areas as well, up to around 30 miles per hour and 20 miles per hour in a few spots today. Later on tonight and the parts of tomorrow, that wind will begin to back off. Our average high is now down to 69 degrees, and again, will remain cool over the next few days with 50s and 60s on the way, although a few middle to upper 60s as we head towards Wednesday and even in parts of Thursday as well. But moving forward, though, again, we have rain showers across the eastern parts of the state today. By later on tonight, that will slowly start to back off to a few sprinkles, maybe some fog in a few spots as well, but the clouds will be slow to break up for the daytime tomorrow, but especially by the afternoon, we'll start seeing more of this break up to a partly cloudy sky before our next system moves in, giving us more chances for a few showers and storms. As for precipitation, most of it will be across the eastern parts of the viewing area later today. But again, later this week, more precipitation on the way, so more beneficial rainfall continuing to be expected for a good part of the week. So your forecast for today, middle 50s cloudy with rain showers, the north wind getting up to about 20 miles per hour. Later on tonight, upper 40s, a slight chance for a few showers and sprinkles, maybe some patchy fog as well. North wind getting up to about 20 miles per hour. For tomorrow, middle 60s, partly cloudy, north wind backing off to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Alrighty, here's a look at your extended forecast brought to you by Crosby Sports Shop. We'll be under a partly cloudy sky on Wednesday, although more clouds in the morning. Temperatures in the 60s, upper 60s by Thursday with a chance for storms. And we're dry Friday and Saturday, partly cloudy, temperatures in the 50s and 60s.
Offensive and divisive. That's Paul LePage's legacy. But it's not just what he said as governor. It's what he did. LePage slashed funding for cancer screenings for women. He refused to invest in clean energy, kicked over 1,000 seniors off their prescription drug program, and even opposed funding to Meals on Wheels. So, if that's what Paul LePage did last time he was governor, we can't send him back. The top funder of A Better Maine is the Democratic Governors Association.
I may be close to retirement, but I'm as busy as ever. And thanks to Voya, I'm confident about my future. Voya provides guidance for the right investments. They make me feel like I've got it all under control.
Voya, be confident to and through retirement.
If you are in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, or Maine, you could get special financing at the Toyota 5-state sales event. There are new fuel-sipping Toyotas arriving daily, including popular models. Save with 2.49% financing on an all-wheel drive Highlander. And every Highlander comes with 2 years no-cost maintenance and Toyota Safety Sense technology. The Toyota 5-state sales event at your New England Toyota dealer, your all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
When Ansley Moore of Better Homes and Gardens wants to know the local forecast, she logs on to foxbangor.com. Ansley has been a realtor since 2013. She works throughout the state of Maine with both buyers and sellers with a focus on the greater Bangor area.
We finally did it. Did right by every child in Maine. For the first time ever, Maine is paying its full share for pre-K through 12 education. We did it by putting politics aside and bringing Democrats, Republicans, and independents together to put our kids first. With more resources in the classroom, better pay for teachers, and property tax relief for homeowners.
Fully supporting our kids. One more way Governor Mills puts Maine first.
And now a look at your national news. The timing of a call by a top Senate Republican for nationwide abortion restrictions is getting a lot of attention. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham is defending his move, which has put many in the GOP in an uncomfortable position heading into the November elections. Fox News senior correspondent Rich Edson takes a look.
I'm pro-life, even in an election year. And to those who suggest that being pro-life is losing politics, I reject that.
Though many Republicans are rejecting a proposal from Senator Lindsey Graham to ban abortions nationwide after 15 weeks of pregnancy.
I think a better approach probably will be to allow the states to work through this.
For months, Republicans have built their midterm pitch on inflation, the border, and a nationwide increase in crime. Graham says abortion should be part of that argument.
To my Republican colleagues, now's the time to stand up and be counted. The pro-life movement is counting on you.
A newly released NBC poll shows that 61% of voters disapprove of the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. Democrats have a 22-point advantage over Republicans on abortion. A recent Fox News poll showed a 12-point spread. The same Fox News poll found about 45% of voters are extremely concerned about abortion.
I encourage everyone to exercise your right to express your voice on this issue through your vote.
In New Hampshire, within hours of Republican Don Bolduc's primary victory, his opponent, Democratic Senator Maggie Hassan, ran an ad claiming a Bolduc victory meant a nationwide ban on abortion.
It's the only thing she's got. It's a distraction. She wants to take a very, very important issue and, like she always does, make it about herself.
Senator Graham acknowledges his abortion bill won't pass anytime soon, but he says he will continue fighting for it because, as of June, there is no longer any constitutional prohibition preventing Congress from setting abortion policy. In Washington, Rich Edson, Fox News.
4 in 5 pregnancy-related deaths in the U.S. are preventable. That's the results of a report from the Maternal Mortality Review Committee, who went over 2 years of data on pregnancy-related deaths, finding more than half happened up to 1 year after delivery. The top causes of these deaths were related to mental health conditions, including death by suicide, followed by excessive bleeding, cardiac, and coronary conditions. The head of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's Division of Reproductive Health says the results show we need to improve initiatives in states, hospitals, and communities to make sure all pregnant or postpartum individuals get the help they need at the right time. A new report finds thousands of books were banned during the 2021 to 2022 school year. The report is by PEN America, which is a nonprofit that works to protect free expression in literature and human rights. The report found that more than 1,600 books with titles relating to race or the LGBTQ community were prohibited in more than 5,000 schools during the last school year. It adds 41% of the books banned had LGBTQ themes, while 40% featured main or secondary characters of color. The American Library Association says efforts to ban books in schools could potentially surpass last year's record. Still to come here on the second half of our show, we'll get a look at your Tuesday business updates. But first, let's take another look at our forecast. High of 54 today, a bit chilly out, breezy and rainy throughout the day in certain parts of the state. That trend is continuing on into tonight. Fog and showers are likely, dropping down to 48 degrees as your low. Tomorrow, a bit nicer, partly sunny, high of 66.
On the Road, broadcasting the news at 6, live from Ellsworth, is sponsored by Coastal Auto Parts, your local Napa Auto Parts dealer with 29 locations, owned and operated by a Maine family that cares. Tony Murray's Fairway Auto Sales. Come buy your vehicle the Fairway. It's not only a slogan, it's the way we do business. And Bucksport Regional Health Center has what your family needs for good health, medical, dental, behavior health, and more.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith. It's Tuesday, September 20th, 2022. Law and Order Special Victims Unit is 23 years old today. You can watch it weeknights on ABC 7. 21 years ago today, President George W. Bush declared the war on terror. Actress Sophia Loren is 88 today, and today is National Gibberish Day. I've been trying not to let that mix me up. Let's get a look at our full weather forecast. Devin Biggs is in with the latest.
Hey, Emma, thank you very much. Happy Tuesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Crosby Sports Shop. With a large supply of ammo in stock, custom Damascus knives, fishing supplies of all kinds, concealed weapons classes, and a full line of Dragonfly UV tackle, plus the latest in ultraviolet tackle. Call today. Alrighty, so we only have a small craft advisory that's in effect along the coast lasting till about 4 p.m. today. Afterward, the wind will slowly start to calm down, which will help out the ocean. But otherwise, though, plenty of rain moving in this morning and even some thunderstorms along the coast as the lightning tracker has been lighting up with some of that early this morning. The rain's going to track off towards the north and east and hit our eastern counties for most of today, which will allow more rain to fall there. But once we head towards tomorrow, things will begin to improve as we get this precipitation out of here. With this area of low pressure that does continue to track off towards the east, not much behind it. So again, we got to get through today and parts of tonight before tomorrow things begin to look good. As for today, Futurecast showing some of that rain staying around the eastern parts of our viewing area. But again, later on tonight and the parts of tomorrow, they'll back off to a few sprinkles. And eventually by tomorrow, the clouds will also begin to break up. The wind zone will kind of be all over the place a little bit. A few gusts up to 20 miles per hour from time to time, but a gradual back off in the wind, especially as we head towards your Wednesday. So for today, middle 50s. It'll be cool out there, cloudy with rain showers. The north wind gusting up to about 20 miles per hour at times. Your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period. Plenty of rain with temperatures in the 50s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Emma?
Thank you, Devin. And with Thursdays, or excuse me, it is National Gibberish Day. With Tuesday's business news, here's Leo Jonathan.
The Nasdaq was up 0.8% Monday. The S&P closed 0.7% higher, and the Dow finished the day up 0.6%. The Feds are expected to boost interest rates again on Wednesday. Ford, blaming parts shortages, is cutting its third-quarter earnings forecast. The company says it expects to have up to 45,000 unfinished vehicles on its lots by the end of this month. In a week and a half, you'll have the opportunity to own a piece of Porsche. The brand's parent company, Volkswagen, is setting up an IPO price range between $76.50 and $82.50 a share, which would value the sports car maker at about $78 billion. Trading starts on the 29th. And experts say FedEx, UPS, and the U.S. Postal Service bulked up so much over the last couple of years that they'll be able to handle a combined 110 million packages a day over the holidays this year, well over expected demand. I'm Leo Jonathan with Tuesday's Business on ABC 7.
And now let's move on to some of the upbeat stories making headlines today. Whoops, looks like we're experiencing some difficulties. We will move on to a tease to the next block. Still to come here this morning, it's been 5 years since the raceway in Unity last saw action. Tyler Cruz will give us an update on the new and improved track, and we will have a special interview when we return.
Tomorrow morning on Star 97.7, Paul Dupuis has the music and fun. Sonny Shepard brings you Star 97.7 local news, and Steve McKay with the weather. Turn on your radio and get the Star treatment with Star 97.7.
At Hashi's Auto Enhancing, our focus is on the appearance, longevity, and value of your vehicle. Does your undercarriage look like this? You can go from this to this. And if you have a new vehicle, you can avoid this. Our annual undercoating service will add years of life to your vehicle. At Hashi's, we also do rhino linings. We can rhino rocker panels, bumpers, trailers, side-by-sides, and more. We take pride in making your ride shine, inside and out. Book one of our detailing packages.
Bring your ride to us to protect your investment.
Big trucks rule the road. They're dangerous, and they can cause big, bad injuries. But the big trucking companies don't stand a chance against me. These companies have big insurance policies, and if you're hurt by one of these big boys, I'll fight to make them pay up for you. I'm Jim with Lowry & Associates. If you've been hurt by a big truck, call the twos. We win for you.
Hurt by a big truck? Come out on top. Call the twos. Call 222-2222.
Mom and Dad, you must be so proud.
We're proud of all of our children.
She has to say that.
Oh, you can't run away from me forever.
Just a heads up, this is my good side.
Yeah.
Bazinga, bazinga, bazinga.
Ah! Are you trying to kill me?
Weekdays at 6 on Fox 22.
Tomorrow morning on Star 97.7, Paul Dupuis has the music and fun. Sonny Shepard brings you Star 97.7 local news. And Steve McKay with the weather. Turn on your radio and get the Star treatment with Star 97.7.
After fighting their way to become #1 contenders, the Brawling Brutes will challenge the Usos for the undisputed tag team title. An all-new edition of Friday Night SmackDown, live at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. After losing their first game of the season to Mount Ararat, Brewer girls soccer has been lighting it up on both sides of the field, recording 4 straight shutout wins. And they're looking to do some more damage as the season progresses.
Think brewing on the soccer field this fall.
We're just doing really good, working together.
Our runs, everything's just clicking this year.
After dropping their first game of the year to Mount Ararat, Brewer has rattled off not only 4 straight victories, but 4 straight shutouts as well.
The 4 straight shutouts is just what everybody else sees, but what we see is the tip of the iceberg for all the hard work that's been put in since this summer and everything up until now.
We've just kind of been playing the way that we've been trying to play since summer session started and going from there. I mean, she's right. Tip of the iceberg, that's what we want.
Leading the way for the Witches is 9 seniors, 5 of them captains, and they've all been together for a while now.
We were playing rec ball at like 4 years old together.
Literally.
And that chemistry is showing up both on the field and in the win column.
I think it's really just all of us working together as a whole.
Yeah.
Our defense is just always killing it. Our midfield's showing to the ball. Our strikers are finding the runs. So, yeah, I think it's really just a team effort.
I think, honestly, the talking's gotten a lot better with us, too, and that's really helped us a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Telling people when to turn and come to the ball and what runs to take. So, and then we have really good captains out there.
On and off the field, I mean, they're having fun. They're smiling. You can see it pregame, after game. I mean, it's day one. The smiles were there.
At the helm for the Witches is Phil Turmel, and the first-year head coach is already making a huge difference with the program.
It's been awesome. I spent 6 years over with the boys, with the JV program and Coach Ben Poland. It's a whole new world over here, but I love it. They've been awesome. I can't ask anything more of them. Willing to learn, willing to put in the effort, and I think the results have been showing.
I feel like everyone this year really wants to be here, and they all want to get better, and that's a really good thing to have. And our coach does a great job coaching us through everything.
Through 5 games, the girls have already surpassed their win total from last fall. And while this Witches group is taking things one day at a time, they're certainly looking forward to what the future holds for them.
We've all worked really hard to get to where we're at, and I think we kind of all want to go out with a bang. I think we're just excited for what we're capable of. I think we're excited on how we've been playing and just want to keep that momentum going.
All right, certainly a good story there. Can't wait to see what the Witches have in store for them for the rest of the season. They have Lewiston Tuesday night at home. All right, moving on now. A hometown favorite has returned to Unity, but things are just a little bit different than they were 5 years ago. Before this year, it had been since 2017 since drivers were last in action at Unity Raceway. Besides all of the behind-the-scenes work that went into opening the track back up for racing after so long, they made some physical changes too, changing over to a dirt track this time around. And new track leasee and race organizer Joey Doyon says it feels great to open back up again, but the old track will certainly be missed.
The old track that was here, you just can't replace it. The memories that it had and the great racing that it had was great. It was awesome, but we're on to a new thing and people are having fun.
It says the reason of changing to a dirt track had to do with cost, not for them, but for the drivers and their vehicles. But even with that switch, the atmosphere at the track and support from the community has been there all year.
For the most part, this is about as cheap as it gets for now. The guys are running a long time on their tires and stuff, and it's just kind of backyard racing, like field bomb race. These guys have all been having a great time with it. Got a good group of drivers, too. We're learning this dirt deal. It's different.
It looks like fun. I have to check that out on Sunday. Let's move on now. Let's talk some Maine football, shall we? The Black Bears were down at Boston College on Saturday night. I got the chance to sit down and watch the whole thing on Nesson. And despite the final score, 38-17 loss, I felt really good about how Maine played in that one, and it was pretty hard not to if you saw the game. Despite being 30-plus point underdogs, Maine came out hot. They actually held a 10-7 lead over the Eagles at one point. And in the fourth quarter, they were still really in the game. They were only trailing by 2 scores, so a chance to get a score, make a stop, and actually tie the game until Boston College had a garbage time touchdown with just under a minute left. Late in the game, Fagnano found Montego Moss for their second touchdown in 2 weeks. Both defense and special teams looked good, too. Special teams set them up for their first 2 scores, and Maine fought really hard in this one against a Power 5 school. They don't play Power 5 schools very often, and Coach Stevens says that game just shows how they've grown since week 1.
Really proud of the team and how they came out, how they prepared last week, and the growth that they've shown through the first 3 games is something to be recognized. And I think that we're heading in the right direction and making improvements in the areas we want to be making improvements in terms of how we play. And so excited about our bye week here, and then working into Villanova.
Let's stay with some football now. Patriots picking up a win on Sunday. How about that? A big W on the road in Pittsburgh for New England. They held the 1-0 Steelers to just 14 points, only 1 touchdown on the defensive side of things. And the offense, they looked pretty good too. Probably the deciding play in that game was a deep ball from Mac Jones to Nelson Aguilar. That's right here. It was a 50-50 ball. Aguilar went over the defensive back. He went up and got it. And after watching the tape, Coach Bill Belichick, he had some strong praise for his wide receiver on Monday morning.
Nelly did a great job of going up and getting his hands on the ball and then kind of ripping it down and pulling it away. So you give him all the credit in the world on that one. That was a tough catch, and as you said, a 50-50 ball, and it came down in our favor. But he timed it well and went up and fought for it strong, kept his balance, and went into the end zone. It was a huge play in the game and a great individual effort on his part.
Yeah, week 2, a much better game to watch than week 1, that's for sure. That's all the time we have in sports. We will be right back after this.
Find meaningful work in behavioral health.
I discovered that I could help others. And you don't need a degree, you don't need prior training, they train you on the job. So it was perfect.
Learn more about compassionate careers at caringforme.org.
Mainers work hard, but Joe Biden's inflation is making life miserable. Heating oil costs are crushing Maine families. I'm Bruce Poliquin, and for too many, this means choosing between gas, groceries, or freezing. Biden and all Democrats created this mess, and they're making it worse. Congress needs more Maine common sense, not more spending on those who won't work or more taxes on those who do. I'm Bruce Poliquin, and I approve this message because Maine needs a congressman who will stand up to Biden and help Maine families.
Check 1, check 2. The store's appearance may have changed throughout the years, but its dedication to our community and families has not wavered. We will still welcome you with a smile and top-notch service. If you need coffee,
check.
Tasty treats,
Check.
freshly made pizza, check. Or wine and spirits,
Check.
stop by and fill up your tank and check us out.
Hey, it's Eric from Green Bear 420. We've been in business since 2010 and going strong, so stop in and check us out. We specialize in glass art by over 100 local artists and even have live glass blowing. Plus, we carry incense, novelties, t-shirts, and hard-to-find items. We have tons of local products for the tie-dye wearing person in your circle of friends. Come see us at 531 Moosehead Trail in Newport. And remember, Green Bear 420, it's not just a store, it's a lifestyle.
Find meaningful work in behavioral health.
I discovered that I could help others. And you don't need a degree, you don't need prior training, they train you on the job. So it was perfect.
Learn more about compassionate careers at caringforme.org.
And welcome back into Good Morning Maine. I am joined this morning by Andy Matthews. You are the board president for Loaves and Fishes Food Pantry in Ellsworth. Andy, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me this morning.
Pleasure having you. Now, we have a big event coming up. You've been working on this going on. There's been a lot of fundraising. Can you tell me a little bit about it is the...
Fill the Grand.
Fill the Grand. That's what it was. I was going to say, I think it was along the lines of something else, but Fill the Grand, you're having that come up this Friday, and you're looking for some more donations and more fundraising to help out your profit.
We are. The Grand Theater is partnering with us to offer us the opportunity to collect food and funds. Our goal is to fill each of the 400 seats at least once, which would be which would raise $10,000 worth of food and funds if we're able to do that.
Wow, and this is the first time you've been holding this
This is the first time we've ever done it, yes. And Darling Chevrolet, which is one of our neighbors at our new facility, is sponsoring the event and helping us and providing the bags that we'll be filling. And so far, we've already sold about 105 seats, pre-sold.
Okay.
And so people have gone onto our website and made online donations or mailed us a check to say, hey, we want to buy this many seats. So one seat is $25.
Okay.
Or essentially 10 pounds of food is what basically fills the bag.
Now, when you're talking about filling the bag and giving these donations, you guys have been fundraising this for a little bit now. How has all the developing and putting all this together been for you over the last couple months? We understand that we've come out of the last couple of years. People have been, coming back with inflation and everything else. How have you guys been doing throughout this?
Yeah, we are seeing record high numbers of families in need. Yeah, and so it does certainly, we don't ever turn anybody away. So the need for food is at an all-time high, partly because of the economy, partly because of after effects of the pandemic. There's so many variables, but there are so many families in need throughout Hancock County and beyond. We serve anybody who comes in. And so in terms of raising this, the funds certainly go further because we're able to purchase food at a much reduced price from Good Shepherd Food Bank. We are a partner agency with Good Shepherd Food Bank, and so we are able to purchase from them. $1 gets us about 3 meals if we purchase through Good Shepherd. But certainly we understand that people may want to support us with specific food or personal items. And it's really great for younger people to be able to do that, to be able to start that process of being charitable and making that donation. And for them, I think sometimes it's a little more meaningful when they're able to give us a bag of food. And whether it's funds or food, it's going to go to serve our families.
And to a great cause in the community. I remember when I was a kid, it starts with like the UNICEF donations and the little quarters and pennies and everything. You realize that it doesn't take a lot to really get a necessity that is major up here with food insecurity and how people have been dealing with it. And it's a great cause that you guys have been doing. Now, we were also discussing right before this, 2 weeks, you got a lot going on. You have a new facility you guys are going to be going into. So there's a lot of moving parts going on right now in your organization.
Yeah, we will be moving to our new facility. We've been in a 1,200 square foot facility for the last 22 years. And we've continued service there, but we will be moving into our new 8,000 square foot facility and open for service on October 5th. We have purchased a building, done the renovations. We have a 5,000 square foot community garden that's already been built and planted this summer. We will be offering classes. We have a teaching kitchen, and we'll be able to provide more food to more families more often. And so we're really excited about that. So yes, there are a lot of moving parts over the next several weeks, but the community has been absolutely amazing in supporting us in both of these events.
And when you have that kind of relationship, it really does go far. And it pushes everyone to give back and help out, and it doesn't take too much. It never does. Now, going back to your event coming up on this Friday, if anyone for our viewers out there, how can they donate, get tickets, get involved? I'm sure you're looking for volunteers as well.
Sure. I still need a few volunteers, absolutely. And they can contact us through our website, which is loavesandfishesellsworth.org. We are accepting prepaid seats at this point. And again, that's through our website. There's a button to click on for donate, and then you can designate that it's for Fill the Grand. Perfect. And you can buy one seat or you can buy multiple seats. In addition, we will be physically at the Grand Theater from 10 to 6 on Friday, the 23rd, welcoming people in, accepting donations, giving them more information about what we do if somebody needs to access our services. We'd love to have them come by and find out what they need to do so that they can get the food that they need for their families. So we will be there all day on Friday, and certainly, if somebody is interested in supporting us ahead of time because they can't be there, they're at work, then again, contact us through the website, and we'll reach out and make that connection, whatever that is.
That is perfect. Andy, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
It has been a pleasure. And all this will be on our Facebook page and our website, foxbangor.com. You'll be able to check out and find a way to get involved. Hopefully we can get you a few more people coming down there Friday.
That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll toss it over to weather and get one more check.
Thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Crosby Sports Shop. With a large supply of ammo in stock, custom Damascus knives, fishing supplies of all kinds, concealed weapons classes, and a full line of Dragonfly UV tackle, plus the latest in ultraviolet tackle. Call them today already, so we have that small crowd advisory that's in effect until 4 p.m. this evening, as things will start to calm down in the wind department later on tonight, and the parts of tomorrow which will help to ease up the ocean for a while. But we're still watching rain showers this morning, not much in the way of thunderstorms. That's mainly along the coast as our lighting tracker has been lighting up with a few offshore thunderstorms, but on land it's mainly some rain showers. But a few breaks are starting to develop as we start to get some of this out of here, though, with this area of low pressure. That area of low pressure is going to track off towards the east. High pressure right behind it for about a day or so will give us some very nice weather before more chances for showers and thunderstorms begin to move in later on in the week. Let's go on a field trip and talk about Hurricane Fiona. This thing has really intensified since our update yesterday. Now up to a Category 3 hurricane. We have winds up to about 115 miles per hour, moving toward the north-northwest at about 10 miles per hour. The red shaded areas right here, there's a hurricane warning. The orange areas, tropical storm warnings. And this thing is going to be tracking off towards the north from time to time, and even getting up to possibly a Category 4 hurricane. Bermuda, we'll need to watch this closely. But then this thing continues to track off towards the north, though, maintain its strength. It'll be close enough to us where we may have to watch maybe for some effects from this system. No, more sure just some issues with wave heights, maybe a few clouds and some precipitation moving in. Still a long ways out, but we'll definitely make sure to keep you posted. This is this upcoming Friday at this point as it stands. But otherwise, though, back here at home, we do have some issues with gusty winds in a few areas as well, up to around 30 miles per hour and 20 miles per hour in a few spots today. Later on tonight and the parts of tomorrow, that wind will begin to back off. Our average high is now down to 69 degrees, and again, will remain cool over the next few days with 50s and 60s on the way, although a few middle to upper 60s as we head towards Wednesday and even in parts of Thursday as well. But moving forward, though, again, we have rain showers across the eastern parts of the state today. By later on tonight, that will slowly start to back off to a few sprinkles, maybe some fog in a few spots as well, but the clouds will be slow to break up for the daytime tomorrow, but especially by the afternoon, we'll start seeing more of this break up to a partly cloudy sky before our next system moves in, giving us more chances for a few showers and storms. As for precipitation, most of it will be across the eastern parts of the viewing area later today. But again, later this week, more precipitation on the way, so more beneficial rainfall continuing to be expected for a good part of the week. So your forecast for today, middle 50s cloudy with rain showers, the north wind getting up to about 20 miles per hour. Later on tonight, upper 40s, a slight chance for a few showers and sprinkles, maybe some patchy fog as well. North wind getting up to about 20 miles per hour. For tomorrow, middle 60s, partly cloudy, north wind backing off to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Alrighty, here's a look at your extended forecast brought to you by Crosby Sports Shop. We'll be under a partly cloudy sky on Wednesday, although more clouds in the morning. Temperatures in the 60s, upper 60s by Thursday with a chance for storms. And we're dry Friday and Saturday, partly cloudy, temperatures in the 50s and 60s.
I was just telling these guys about Jared Golden. He's a Marine who puts country ahead of politics. And then there's Bruce Poliquin. He's a multi-millionaire Wall Street banker who went to Washington, took all that money from the insurance industry, and voted to let them increase premiums. Worse, Poliquin said he wants to raise the retirement age. He's for them, not us. House Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Today, you took delicious Centrum multi-gummies and took one more step towards taking charge of your health. They're packed with essential nutrients for energy and immunity support. So every day, you can say, with Centrum multi-gummies.
Check one, check two. The store's appearance may have changed throughout the years, but its dedication to our community and families has not wavered. We will still welcome you with a smile and top-notch service. If you need coffee,
check.
Tasty treats,
Check.
freshly made pizza, check. Or wine and spirits,
Check.
Stop by and fill up your tank and check us out.
When Ansley Moore of Better Homes and Gardens wants to know the local forecast, she logs on to foxbangor.com. Ansley has been a realtor since 2013. She works throughout the state of Maine with both buyers and sellers with a focus on the greater Bangor area.
You in the mood for some more news? Welcome back! Magic time! Oh my God! We want to see it! Did you order a Droober?
Wow.
The Drew Barrymore Show, Tuesday at 11 on Fox 22.
Nothing beats a steak that's juicy, flavorful, and tender. So on those occasions when you want to splurge a little, I have just the thing. If you have a food processor or a blender, now would be a great time to take it out. And if you don't, no worries. You can chop all the ingredients by hand. We start by placing a bunch of fresh parsley in our chopper, along with some olive oil, fresh lime juice, a bunch of peeled garlic, and a generous amount of salt and pepper. We put the top on and pulse it until everything is well combined. You may need to scrape down the sides a couple of times, but that's easy enough. Now we pour all but 1/2 cup of this over a beef skirt steak, cover it, and place it in the fridge. After an hour or so, you'll want to turn it over so every inch of our steak soaks up all that goodness. Then it's cooking time. And you can do this indoors on a grill pan or out on your charcoal or gas grill. It only takes minutes before everything smells garlicky delicious. Once your steak is cooked just the way you like it, slice it across the grain and get ready for one of the most flavor-packed steaks you've ever eaten. To get the recipe for our garlic lover steak, you know what to do. Visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a garlicky good way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
A Phoenix home gets a makeover straight from the pages of the Book of the Dead, thanks to these two homeowners' love for the film Beetlejuice. Fox's Irene Snyder has more on the display and how it has grown over the years.
We both love Beetlejuice. We've both seen it like 167 times, and it's getting funnier every single time we see it.
Matt Wiley and Karen Altamirano channeling their love for the classic Tim Burton film Beetlejuice, creating their very own Dante's Inferno.
And then the waiting room, we have Miss Argentina, the magician's assistant. You can actually sit down and take a picture here.
The couple started out buying Halloween decorations a few years ago, but after running into some defective products, they decided just to make their own. Everything here, minus the mannequins, is homemade.
So it started with just the worm and the signs on the top, and then as the years went on, we added the devil and the extra signs, and then the grave last year, and then the waiting room is this year's addition.
The waiting room was actually a lot more difficult than we thought. We didn't know if we could actually pull it off, but I played with textures and colors and paints, and we eventually ended up making the walls, and then the furniture. Everything is thrifted or like secondhand.
And they encourage people to come up to the waiting room and take a picture. Then again, do use caution. After all, you can never trust the living.
Now here's a look at some of the upbeat stories making headlines today.
The dogs are stoked in Del Mar, California. They're decked out in life jackets to compete in the 17th annual Surf Dog Surfathon. More than 70 dogs participated in 10-minute heats over the weekend. A panel of judges watched for length of ride, wave technique, and enthusiasm and confidence on the board. The event raised money for shelter orphan pets and programs. 50,000 spectators watched as 42 teams attempted to fly with human-powered homemade flying machines. One aircraft made it over 107 feet. The event was sponsored by Red Bull, which hosted the Flight Day competition in Taiwan for the first time. And a new first for the record books, 2 women head football coaches and their teams played each other in the gridiron. Coach Mayfield and Coach Rhea leading their Chicago Public League high school